And so for us, it wasn't a pivot. To the rest of the world, it looked like a pivot because that's not the direction that cannabis was going as a nascent industry. And so we knew that we had something that we could develop into a platform. And so our next logical step was to start partnering with serious, focused researchers who could do that. And we ended up with MD Anderson and been with them since 2020. So.
Nice. And along the way, I'm sure that you know, learned a lot overall in your journey. I like to highlight these because I feel like things that you learn or things that are major milestones for you in your career probably are also things that other people will see as well. And so, can you pick out just a few of the items that you really felt like were major lessons learned in your career for any sort of milestones that you've crossed?
Phew. I thought about that question a little different. I think faith in self, faith in team, faith in the greater mission, um, uh, perseverance. Just my God. The it truly the anecdotes that it's not necessarily the smartest, it's not necessarily the fastest or the most aggressive, but showing up regardless is cannot be understated, and I continue to be challenged with that and or have that placed in front of me. I think those are the fundamental ones. If I started breaking down individual experiences, we could eat up the whole hour with it. But I think those are two we will build on, but that are fundamental to our ongoing survival. So yeah.
Yeah. And I I really have to echo that because I do feel like there's a part of it's just natural in everyday life where it's like, look, you just have to keep showing up. And like not it doesn't necessarily mean doing the same thing every day showing up, but showing
Uh,
up and like continuing to evolve yourself, continuing to evolve your thinking and making sure that at the end of the day that like you're like trying to extend whatever it is, even further. And whether it's formal education or it's, a job, to me, it's like it's the same sort of thing you have to do in life.
I think you really hit it, Don. It's the evolution, and there's kind of a daily list of like these are your opportunities, and you can, the term these days is quiet quit, and I don't know but I've seen it and I've made the mistake in my own way. But you're like, well, I'm here, I'm doing my work, but I'm not going to do that today, and that's the thing that really would cause you to evolve and to move the company forward and to move it. And so it's a self honesty to allow that list to be there, and then it's executing that list, whether you want to execute that list or not. And that's what triggers that ongoing evolution, and doing that on a day to day basis, so you don't end up off track here, and then when the thing collapses, you go, well, it was meant to collapse. No, it wasn't. You got 6 steps back there that you could have been doing, and you can see that. So yeah, yeah, well
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
absolutely. And how did your experience, as a CEO in natural product R&D genetics development help to prepare you for what you're doing now?
Well, on the genetic side, it helped us get an understanding of control of the plant without outside human interaction, right? So we got a basis of understanding of the potential that natural products have because we've moved well beyond, we're in other botanicals and synergistic combinations now that are exponents of efficacy from anything that we could do individually from hemp. And so we got that basis of understanding early on with just the natural product R&D, working with genetics in a natural way, but accelerating that process. Um, Understanding that the efficacy and what was holding back developing these, because some of the agents we're working with have been recognized in Eastern countries for decades. NCI has been reporting on their potential. One of them that is one of our key agents has NCI has been reporting on for 30 years. And so diving in and having that basis allowed me to see that it wasn't a shortcoming in the agent, it wasn't a shortcoming in the API, it was how it was being addressed in our human shortcomings. And so, how to approach that from a scientific perspective, that there's no lack of efficacy in the botanicals, it's how they're being approached. And how and that goes into perseverance, focus, and allowed us to really tune that in. So that's what the background gave me, and we built on that. So
Yeah, I think I've said this in other podcasts as well. I feel like having an understanding also helps you sort of see both the roadblocks as well as the bridges that could get you to the other side, right? So it's almost like um, something that's needed, and I've used this example as well on other episodes where I said, look, I've been a part of organizations where you show up and the R&D teams like, oh my gosh, sky's falling, we got bad data, and we don't know how we're going to be able to move forward, and I feel like what's interesting to me is whenever there are just brilliant people that are just like they can see the picture a little differently and they're just like, well, okay, so yes, head on, we understand that this problem is probably something that is going to be difficult to overcome. What if we took a slight redirect this way? Is this the way through? And all of a sudden, also I've seen teams, kind of come together. It's normally the biostatisticians plus the people that understand the science and kind of go, hey, look, here's how we could see that other path, maybe then allowing us to move forward again. And so it's amazing to me how, something may look impossible. You get the right brilliant people in the room, all of a sudden you find a path forward.
well, I agree, and I think that like for us, there was a built-in humility because we knew we didn't know what we were doing. So there was no formal training, right? We bubble wrapped ourselves in high quality life science executives and advisors and scientists, but we came in as outsiders, and we came in already holding this that had this history of documented potential but not executing. So for us, it like you said, it's just taking the next right step and knowing that we were out of the box. So we haven't been scared to ask questions. We haven't been scared to, approach things from a different angle, because we were coming in from a different angle anyway. And so it's been interesting because we get reaffirmed of a lot of things of, whoa, this is what that we were critical of when we were outside of the box, that we understand now why they're done a certain way, right? FDA regulatory pathway and et cetera, right? The details that you could get lost in with that. But and then there also, but it's also provided reaffirmation of that we're bringing something. It finally got pointed out to us that at its full potential, we're developing a new modality. We're where immunotherapy was 15 years ago, right? Um, and so to accept and embrace to a certain extent, while finding our proper place. And I think it allows that out of the box thinking to help build and improve the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also true. So let's talk a little bit about Pebble. What is Pebble's mission, and how does your company aim to make a difference in the lives of autistic children?
All right, so I'm gonna read this straight from so I don't get lost in conversation. The mission is to commercialize our novel platform to establish a new treatment modality of oncologic and neurologic therapies that improve overall survival and increase patient quality of life. Specific to autistic children. And I talked about this a little bit with the case studies, and we've had progressive case studies all the way through. Facilitate independence, big deal for autistic kids and their family, and personal growth by significantly reducing generalized anxiety, stimming, seizure activity when it's applicable, and facilitating neurogenesis. This allows them to adapt, change quicker, easier. We have a lot of testimony about that, and making the entire family's lives better.
Very good. And I guess if people were interested in Pebble as well, can you talk a little bit more about where the company currently is and its overall growth and approach to getting to the market?